and you're sitting in third place. So as a bad map, it's about as good of a bad map as you can get. But let's get into map number 2. See what happens here, guys. There's only 3 maps for these groups to use to qualify to get into the final. And here is Bear, the snail himself, Unrational, on your screen. This is the team that came in second place but is currently sitting in first, thanks in large part to Scummin having another nice double-digit game. And I think this is what I expected from them yesterday. It's good to see them kind of finding that groove and finding that success early on today.
Absolutely. And hey, we'd mentioned it before. Yesterday was no fluke. They were finding tons of kills every single lobby. The thing they missed out on was their ability to score the multiplier. So already, take it from what you will, it's just one drop, but a good correction on that. Getting high kills and putting yourself in second place overall is great news. See how the drop goes this time? They're over towards the residential living quarters area on the start, which has been a kind of preferred drop location for them, I feel like, every single time. And it kind of lives off the idea of everyone loot their own building, get your money that you need for a loadout drop, and then get into fighting condition as we try to charge up the hill.
Here we can see this is a team that did qualify yesterday, but a bit of a struggle here in map 1 as well. They're sitting in 8th place with 9 kills and 9 points, which means they were one of those 8-9 teams. The multiplier only taking effect at 1.25 when you get to that 7th place team. So they're very much so going to need to have a solid bounce back game here. But when you've got the likes of Super Evan, Stu, and FIFA on your team, those 3 should be able to get it done.
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is, you know, we could sit here and softball up and kind of fluff up the competition, but this is the best level of Rebirth competition that we've probably seen. Like, honestly, as much as the CDLR was kind of a more wider scope because it was a general public qualifiers and then players got a chance to play for the CDL teams, brands and stuff like that, these are kind of at least chosen squads from the get-go. And I would argue 18 of the best teams that we could have possibly put together out of your known creators and competitors. So every team has the ability to finish in first place with high kills. It just comes down to what are the decisions looking like as you're taking difficult fights. So that's where I think the difference maker has been, because it definitely hasn't been an individual skill. Every single player in this lobby is insane.
Yeah, I agree, and I really like that you made that point because, again, keep in mind, right, these aren't public Rebirth lobbies. Every single gunfight you're facing is going to be very difficult, far more difficult than what it usually is in a random lobby. So sometimes you're going to have those extremely high-skilled teams that might go out early in a map, and you think, oh my god, are they horrible? No, they're just playing extremely high-level competition, and, well, Knight and Z-Smith losing at least their ones and waiting on the revives. Knight back into the action, but yeah, I agree. Brittany's team, anyone else is perfectly capable of winning these maps, but they will need a good bounce back, and this is a map where they're going to want to do it as we swing over to FIFA. Seeing what he's doing, has a couple of kills here, spots someone else down to his right, and I think just trying to get a good angle on these engagements. Knows, of course, with that UAV that not only are there players down low, but there's players all around him and his team as Brittany is put into a revive.
Yeah, tough scenes as far as the opening engagements are concerned, but for the most part, everyone's doing a nice job of at least kind of keeping the kills even, and the trades are really good. I mean, you kind of evaluate that based on the fact that we really haven't dropped underneath 30 total players alive at any given moment in time. So as much as that first lobby was a quick team wipe for our 9th and 8th place squads, this one seems to be a little bit more evenly paced and matched across all of our 9 teams. It's hard to give like a full value to that, but that's the first time that we've dropped underneath 30 total players alive at one given moment in time. So you have to feel like the trading game is actually going pretty well for all of our squads.
Yeah, I agree. And here we see Slack's team, and I believe the team's sitting in 4th here with 28 total points. And Slack desperately using that stim to try and stay alive, pops another one, and with the help of Intex, able to come out of that gunfight relatively unscathed with a kill as well. They'll certainly be happy about that. That was actually Intex taking out Flanked, a very good friend of his. And, well, as Intex falls, so too shall Slack as he sees a sniper glint come around the corner.
Again, with Breadman and Unrational in the lobby, you feel like they're probably going to be sniping at each other at one point in time. But anytime you see a sniper glint, you're pretty safe to wager that it's one of those 2 players that is on the other side of it. We jump over to Rated's team. I don't mean to put them on blast again, but I don't think they've reported a score from their first lobby
yet. Report your scores,
yet.
Please. I'll put them on blast. Hello. Yes, we are in a tournament, and you guys are all very talented. And I know that you have a mod available in the Discord to report scores. Thank you.
I just want to know how they're doing. It's just like we don't know how their games are going.
It'll be a mystery for us. I like that. It'll be our little points mystery with Raided's team. But no kill mystery here for Aydan. Already at 7 kills, still with 29 in this lobby.
Stupid.
There's just no way he doesn't break that into double digits. An excellent start for him. And speaking of, this is Scummin, who had 13 last game, was taken down by Aydan earlier on, but now trying to get some revenge. Nice cooking on that nade. Tags one up on the armor, but no blue. Just waiting on when he wants to go toward that engagement. Huskerrs as well on the team. No kills for him just yet, but not a bad position. Again, we always talk about it. If you can lock down top prison, you are in a good spot to eventually be able to farm a lot of kills.
And the interesting thing about how this circle is starting to move is the first circle will actually put part of the prison out of play. So I think hugging the circle on this western side is actually a really good call, because you have the ability to contest up against teams that are rotating out of the living quarters, which we know that there were a few teams off the drop that were preferring to land over in that location. But the same idea is actually kind of being executed here by Raided's team, just a little bit further south over towards Nova 6 & Co. And it looks like they very well are going to be in the same ballpark as Unrational's team. So a difficult fight here, largely around the harbor area, as we continue to vie for positioning as this first circle starts to close.
Oh, you don't want to challenge that. Bread goes for the snipe, does have 30 seconds of triple bounty on his head, so he'll have to be careful about that, especially when you have teammates in H-Man, M-Sage falling. Now, Joewo is still alive and well, but I think just got brought back. Oh, and a beautiful just pop over the top of the railing. A nice headshot, and well, if you can find him in the wall bang, that is a nice kill for Joe, or well, for
so
Breadman. And I don't care who you are, Unrational or anyone else. He's not someone you want to get in a sniper battle with. I'm running away if that's the case.
I'm telling you, Breadman just plays a different game than we do, and it's got to be so fun. But Aydan's team actually a little bit of trouble here as they try to work their way through, and now it's just down to Danny, who comes off of a recent drop of her own that has to stay alive to make sure her teammates can come back in to rejoin this lobby.
And this is a bit of a tricky position for them to be in. So actually, I think this is a time where we know how chatty this team is. We talk about some of the IGLing we hear from Knight. Let's go ahead and do an Astro listen-in with Team Aydan, the team that dominated day one. Let's see what the comms are as they try and regroup.
Right on it, yeah. He's getting fried from top. Is that loot chalk?
Station costs are adjusted.
I mean, we could try to go in and get it.
Enemy UAV active.
I'm gonna fly in from the top. I'm landing on my loot. Oh, never mind. There's someone sitting in it.
Bro. Danny, just stay alive, okay?
Okay.
Stay vigilant. Resurgence window is about
That's very nice of the game to do that for me.
UAV active. Prices are back to normal.
There shouldn't be like a full team there, Aydan. Is there? Yeah, they were all in the lockers.
Enemy team is tracking your position.
Oh my god.
Ray,
Oh my god.
you've got gas moving in.
I think I did it in
Squad
team,
member is
Oh, they're just
redeploying.
playing so weird.
Oh, I just got the worst timing possible. I'm fucking dead again. Got one. I might not be dead.
Fuck them. Got 2 stimmies though, you're vibing. But yeah, you can just grab more, yeah?
Yeah.
Hit your loadie. I wonder if I could land on my loadie.
It just disappeared.
Okay. Fun. Landing on top of this building, I don't see anybody.
UAV active.
And I fucked it up.
I don't think I see anybody in decon zone.
I'm gonna just put down on it.
Reinforcement disabled. Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
Shift, we talk a lot about how RNG can hurt or help in situations like this, but what did we just see with Knight? Because that hurt to watch.
Yeah, it was, he got blessed by the RNG and then absolutely punished by the RNG. The play was really smart. He gets the free kill, is able to upgrade his weapons, and then he makes the call of, my loadout is still here inside the gas. Maybe I can get this and then recharge my stim shots to delay the inevitable rotation a little bit longer. But as you saw, it disappeared right in front of his eyes because the zone just neutralized the ability to be able to pick it up. So tough scenes. He does eventually die, as he kind of foretold himself in his little mini self-prophecy that he put together. But the good news was he did stay alive long enough for the rest of the team to come back into play. But it does feel eerily similar to last round, where everyone's back, but they don't really have a lot of weapons, nor are they in a position to really fight as the zone continues to push further and further away from their initial drop locations.
And this is Super Evan facing off against Unrational, who just killed his teammate Stu. And keep in mind, guys, as Circle 4 closes, there are no more redeploys. Those have been disabled. So it's a very high likelihood here for Unrational, if Scummin can't stay alive, that he might be on his own. And you still know that that is Super Evan doing everything he can to try and poke him down. Now here's Scummin sitting on a nice 6 kills. Should know that there's someone to his right and does have a triple threat as well. That very well could be Super Evan's team, I'm not sure. But they'll need to be cautious here, because you can't have someone alive at this point when there's still 7 teams left. Just one makes it very hard to stay alive for as long as you can. But I think Irrational knows that Scummin is taking shots at someone underneath him, but you gotta be careful, because that gas mask might just save his life. At least he had some plates available to him to use. But Scummin, again, in a gunfight, can he stay alive? Irrational watching over the top of him, but will lose that gas mask and need to get out of the storm sooner rather than later. But, well, the buybacks and at least getting himself another gas mask. I think that's so smart, right? If you have that money to utilize, focus on the gas mask and making those plays over buying back teammates, if you could even do so.
He may be the most healthy player into this new circle as it starts to push. Just due to the fact that you got that second gas mask, you're going to have so many extra armor plates to get you to full as soon as you're into the circle itself. So even though Scummin will fall, Unrational is going to be in a super powerful position. It just comes down to, will he find players rotating out of the gas and in towards his line of sight? So far, he's able to track down one, but that player was also in full capacity armor and health, so he's not able to finish off the kill. And we still are in the top 6. We haven't gotten to the 1.5 times multiplier yet.
This is an incredible play from him. He just calls in that UAV, and look at all the players surrounding him. And, well, much like Unrational all on his own, so too is FIFA sitting on a roof on his lonesome. And Unrational, all of them just looking to pick off player Z-Smith alone as well. And, well, that might actually be FIFA who eliminates his team, and he does. And that's a huge elimination, because that means Z-Smith's team takes 6th place. And now we're into the 1.5 multiplier with the 5 teams remaining. So we get toward the end.
Intex is making a brilliant play. He knows that FIFA's on top of the roof with the gas mask. He's going to try to challenge that before he rotates. Unrational trying to hug the gas as long as he possibly can. Does have the ability to recharge those stims with the ammo box. And look where the next circle is going to be. He's got the ability to possibly rotate around these buildings, but no. Another player up top is able to take him down. And now we're in our top 3. And look at Breadman's squad. Still all 4 members alive. It'll be a 4v3 to finish off this lobby.
That is huge. Wow. Joewo's team, the survivability here is so incredible. Breadman getting picked up right now as Joewo watches over the entry points into this building. And the fact that you have that many alive, though, for both of these teams, very impressive. But it's Intex's team that seems to just be trying to get those pot shots in, take them apart while they can. Lovely able to get one, but Blast is down in the storm. She goes for the shots, but can't connect on him, and it's chaos right now at the end of map number 2. But take a look at that, the Warzone victory. I think they sat Joewo's team at about 19 kills. But when you go into the final portion of that and you have your full team, we have yet to see someone lose in a scenario like that. Leaderboard to see how things have shifted around, and, well, the team of the hour now sitting in 5th place. Aydan's team at 49 points, and it's Team Joewo on top. Team Joewo all day, 80 points, 40 kills. Unrational's team right behind him at 73 points. Jesse Cook's team sitting in 3rd at 61. And that's actually something I really like to see. We saw an early, aggressively hot start out of Jesse Cook's team yesterday, and then unfortunately some tough map 2 and 3s meant they didn't qualify. That's not the case this time around. They're sitting in 3rd. They've had a really solid 2 maps. maps. They have the most kills in the lobby at 45. So as long as they can put together a solid map 3, they don't even have to go above and beyond, but we will see them in the qualification.
A little palatable thinking about that at the moment as well. Just feeling a little thirsty out here. But we're getting into our third and final drop for Group B. You kind of saw the initial circle. Some of the island, actually a lot of the island, is going to be out of play after this first round comes to a close. It'll be interesting to see if there's going to be any teams who change their drop location because of that initial circle.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look. Stronghold, not anywhere near being in the circle, tends to sometimes be a place that people like to hide if they need to wait on those redeploys. But we're taking a look now at Team Holly. They're currently in a bit of a tough spot, sitting in 8th place. They have 27.75 points, 25 kills, which is essentially tied with the 26 kills we see out of Flanked and Brittany's teams, but considerably more points on their end. So this is going to need to be a huge game for Holly's team if they are looking to try and make it into qualification.
Yeah, it's just been kind of a struggle getting things going, and we haven't, like you mentioned, we haven't really seen too much of what's been going on for them, but it kind of feels like, just kind of looking at their eliminations, and when we do get a chance to see them in fights, they're not really full valued or fully loaded out. It makes you wonder, is their early game just becoming way too stressful for them, where they're not really getting a stable footing before they take fights? And maybe the same thing could be said about Colors & Co, because I would say for DJ, Colors, Ebates, like this squad is, again, one of those teams that has the ability to frag very quickly, but they just really have not really necessarily shown up in the top echelons of our groups throughout the first 2 days.
And it can just be so hard, too. I mean, you can be one of the best teams here, but Rebirth can be very unforgiving. And again, you're going up against the best of the best, so you're not going to have often to correct your mistakes if you make them. So Holly's team, we'll see if they can continue to make something happen in this map. I mean, it's not a terrible start for them so far. Ebates will have to go into that respawn. But as we swing over, exact on your screen, part of Jesse Cook's team, the team sitting in 3rd place, and the team with the most kills in the lobby. And that's the thing, right? Yes, they can have the most kills at 45 total kills. You are still 20 points under Joewo's, and that is why placement is so important.
Absolutely. It has to be placement with, we'll say, what, 18 plus kills to put together a solid score. And the thing about a lot of these lobbies is we get teams that are putting together 20 plus kills early into the lobbies, but continuing to fight at minimal form when it comes to their strength of squad. Slack's going to give the sniper rifle a go. Not going to be able to quite connect, but this position over towards Bio is looking good as their loadout is going to be safely collected, and then it just turns into the conversation of where do you go next here? And I would love to see them get a little bit more aggressive just in this early stage game, because even though they're still sitting in a contested spot for maybe a top 4, they only have 30 total kills, which is some of the lowest out of the top 6 groups that we have still at the moment.
Yeah, yes, you are in qualification, but you are in no way a safe qualification spot. You're not Joewo, who's probably going to make it no matter what happens in this map. But something that's interesting there that it is a bit of a slower start from Slack's team, but something that I liked about it, Shift, is that they were also in a position where they guaranteed a safe drop of their loadout too around that corner. So they knew they could get that set up and then maybe start to get a little more aggressive.
And I think just as we see more and more of how these top tier teams are starting to kind of approach Rebirth, the more I kind of prefer to see teams do that. Get your loadout guaranteed, because then once you get the ability to fight, even if you're dropping, if your team is out trading, kind of like we're seeing here from Jesse's squad, they're doing a really nice job of kind of keeping this team at arm's length. Then even if you lose or drop and you kind of you lose a member or two, you're safely able to drop back down on where you had died to get your loot right back up again. So I think that that's a really smart strategy when it comes to being able to afford ability to fight early.
There we go, a little peek for a while there at Jesse's team as they were in the mix of a few fights, but now we swing over to Team Unrational, currently in 2nd place with 44 kills, 72.5 total points, and they have looked so much better today. It's not that they looked poor yesterday, but it was, again, they were just missing that sweet spot of both high kills and solid multipliers, and they have found that sweet spot so far today, so in a very good position for them to turn this into a qualifying map. Now we swing over to Joewo's team, the team in the lead, and all of them alive and well, at least for the time being. HMed just getting those plates up and the redeploy off, getting that loadout, all those handy dandy perks before they decide to engage. And Scummin, well, he doesn't need that UAV. He's just gonna hip fire you through the wallbang door, and well, he'll get the kill. He's gonna get taken down in the process by Blast, but if you can at least make it a 1-for-1, I'd say it's worth it.
Yeah, that was a really smart pre-fire, just knowing that he's kind of off by his lonesome, wants to create a little bit of time and space for his teammates to get back over. As we jump to Huskerrs POV, doesn't like the look of this gunfight, so we'll stim shot away, replay, and then maybe get around the corner now. Just too much terrain that he has to navigate, not quite able to stay alive. And so now we get into an interesting position here. Unrational, left on his lonesome, needs to make sure he creates enough time to get his teammates back into redeploy form. But where do you drop? Now that you've kind of lost your ability to go back to where you had previously lost your last gunfight, do you have any kind of idea as far as what is open for you to still possibly loot to get back in towards fighting condition before we get to the second circle? This doesn't look like a great option.
No, it doesn't. And that's actually the similar roof that we saw him on in the last game toward the end. And he wanted to kind of go back to maybe that safe spot. Good news, he did have at least one teammate redeploy, so their team will still stay alive. But they are in a very high risk right now of going out as that first team to be eliminated. We'll see if they can find a way to squirrel themselves away somewhere until the full team is back in action. Now, Ebates on your screen alongside DJ Moss Holly and Z Colors, and it has at least one kill, but they're going to need to probably pump those numbers up a little bit because, again, this team being in 8th place, you're going to need a really strong map 3 if you want to be in at least contention for qualifying.
Yeah, and that has to be in the forefront of so many teams' minds, knowing that there has not really been a major lobby total put up yet in our first two. And being able to put together, I mean, I'll call it a perfect game, but at least a successful game where you can finish top 3 with 20+ kills, that could absolutely supplant a number of the teams that are currently in the danger zone, if you want to call it that, between being in the top 4 or potentially just being out. So I think the ability to kind of read that and know that, okay, one good game from us can put us into qualification for finals, that has to be in the forefront of a lot of our team's minds as we go through the middle portion of this third lobby.
And that'll be Holly dead, guys. And, well, as the close of Circle 2 is on its way, got about 25 seconds left, you still are going to have that redeploy for a while longer, but that's going to be one of the major pivot points in this map, as unfortunately, I think just not expecting someone to push up behind him and gets taken down in the process. So once that starts to happen, we'll keep an eye on how these teams work. But right now, all these teams still alive, no team full eliminated yet. We did briefly see Smixy and the whole team alive, so Unrational and Co were able to do what was necessary to get them at least into less of a tenuous position, I would say. Maybe not necessarily a strong position, but hey, they're all alive, and there's that fire sale we know and love, so you'll see some of these numbers ticking back up.
Something to be said about every journey starts with a small step, something like that. So we'll see if they can get back into fighting form here as the third circle will close in the next 50 seconds. Aydan's team has done pretty nicely to get back involved. Obviously, we had tuned into Aydan around this stage last game, and he was on like 8+ kills. He's only got 3 this time, so I think we could assume a bit of a slower game for a team that is currently in that bubble position on the 5th placement margins, looking for what they had done yesterday in any form. A high kill game, top 5, top 3, could catapult them into a top 4 position safely. But they're on the fringe, and there are so many other teams that could do the exact same thing, just get themselves into a good spot. We jump over and take a look at Joewo's team. They're going to be comfortably into the finals pretty much no matter what with their 80-point tally they're on right now through 2. But into this lobby particularly, have to wait for all the rest of the members to come back alive, as it looked like they were also kind of put into trepidatious waters.
Yeah, what a shock that would be if Team Aydan that won everything yesterday didn't even manage to qualify this time around. But hey, sometimes that's how things like Rebirth, things like Warzone go. Nice shots out of Z Smith, able to get a kill onto, I think potentially that was Slash. I'm not totally sure, but regardless, he'll put himself at 6 kills alongside the rest of the team. I think already their kill count very solid as Miss Sweets falls. So if they can turn that in now to a placement position, that'll put them in a very solid position. But you have to keep in mind too, as you look at this, right? A nice down, takes shots into the player to his right, hides back in that bathroom to give himself a bit of room before he decides to stim, fly out, try and find this person who will inevitably, if not him, run into the rest of his team. Is that, keep in mind that bubble spot shift at 76 points for Juki's team. The only team in the entirety of this lobby that is even over that bubble score is Joewo's team in first place.
Yeah, it definitely goes to show that the lobbies are hitting a little bit different between A and B today. It was kind of the same situation yesterday where Grup B was really doing a lot of just extra killing. I think just generally speaking, the kill dispersion in Grup B yesterday was so tight. And we had the same things kind of unfold in our opening group today. But no more respawn's going to be enabled as Lennon is down, the rest of his team trying to clean things up around him. And so far, I would say, is generally so good. And look where this circle is for what it's worth. I mean, there's going to be very little ground to work with or cover to really keep you safe as teams are going to rotate in. So 7 full squads remaining, and this group of 4 is in a really good spot to hold on to this angle.
Look at this. Lennon is at
12
kills.
Oh my.
They have played around each other so well. The communication you just heard out of Selly, Lennon, and the rest of the team. Wow. What a moment for them. And that is the Team Guys Flanks team. They are sitting in 6th place with 41.75 points. And the fact that Lennon himself already is into those double digits is huge for them to try and make a push to get into the top 4. And, well, who knows what's going to happen, because the team in 1st place, Joewo, were the first team to get eliminated, followed by Raided's team being eliminated and Holly's team being eliminated.
That's tough for Holly's team. We were hoping that they could put together something special here in the 3rd lobby, but not going to be the case. And now we're on board with Irrational and Scummin. Currently in 2nd place, should feel pretty comfortable on their ability to get to the top 4, and even beyond that, even if they were to finish in 5th, the kills they have individually will get them over the buffer zone of the team from Group A, so they're going to be fine, most likely. Over to Flanked, he's currently in a team that's in 6th place and would need a big lobby. He's got 9 individual kills, top 5 positioning for right now. If he could survive to the top 3, that'd be incredible, but unfortunately forced to take a gunfight. And as he drops, it's actually Irrational and Scummin who get that elimination, and they've maybe ruled this zone now as they move their way forward.
Okay, but Flank's team, I think they get that 1.5 multiplier shift, and they had, I think, over 30 combined kills.
Holy.
They had a massive amount of kills, so who knows? We'll have to see what happens with Flank's team, but regardless, job well done for them. But now let's talk about, we said how important it is for these teams to stay alive when that redeploy ends, and well, when you stay alive and when you have some of the best on your team, it turns into a Warzone victory. Congratulations there to Team Aydan. Somehow, look, it's a matter of time. They're sitting in 5th place. They are not willing to make it, or rather not make it out of these qualifiers. So Shift, I'm not surprised to see them with a win, but very well earned for them with the full squad there as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look, pull up that leaderboard, and well, guys, never count them out. Of course, Team Aydan finds a way to take 1st place with 101 points, looking as strong as ever. But it's Team Flanked, the resurgence for them with 61 total kills and 94 points, taking 2nd. Team Joewo in 3rd. Team Unrational in 4th. And yes, guys, you're like, why do these all say 94? There was a very marginal difference between all of these scores, from 0.5 to 0.25 differences. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they all managed to qualify. And well, take a look, Shift, at Team Blast with 93 points. What does that mean for poor Team Jukies?
They will not make it, and color me surprised. Katie, yesterday the buffer part was a 56.25 to a 76. Today it was 76 to 93. Like, unbelievable. And the fact of the matter was, for Team Blast, they only get to that number because they finished 2nd with 23 kills. So they definitely got the job done in lobby number 3, because they were just barely scraping along through the first 2 lobbies. But for Team Jukies, that is bad news bears. I thought for sure that their tally was going to be a comfortable one for them, but not to be, as we had 3 teams over 20 kills in the top 5, and it was a heavy loaded top 4 overall. That 3-way tie around the 94-point margin would tell you that for sure. But for our 5th place team to have 90